Last year, we asked our staff and Patreon supporters to submit their top 10 votes for the first ever Nintendo World Report Hall of Fame. The rules for the selection process were simple. Titles submitted were must-play masterpieces on Nintendo platforms. These games also had to be at least 5 years old. The initial list of submissions included 77 different titles. We then asked the voting board to pick out their favorite 15 games from this giant list and came up with the top 15 games selected by everyone. The final list was then taken to one last vote. If these games received over at least 50% approval rating from members of the voting board, they will go down in history as some of the greatest pieces of software ever to hit a Nintendo platform. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the results are in. I present to you the NWR Hall of Fame. In the long, storied history of video games, there are certain benchmark titles where nothing is ever the same afterwards. That list is pretty long, and includes games like Pac-Man and Tetris. Nintendo has the lion's share of these games, though. Donkey Kong, Super Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Wii Sports, but we'd be remiss for leaving out one of their crowning achievements, 1994's seminal Super Metroid. Super Metroid is the game Metroid was meant to be, an inventive, open-world action game where self-guided exploration was the goal, not some unfortunate side effect. This philosophy was even present on the NES. The Legend of Zelda pioneered the form, and Metroid proved to be a beautiful failure compared to its superior SNES sequel. In fact, without the go-anywhere, do-anything attitude that Super Metroid fostered, we might not have games like Mario 64 or Wind Waker. In fact, Super Metroid is often incorrectly credited with inventing a brand new subgenre of platforming action game. Koji Igarashi would later credit Super Metroid with inspiring his PS1 masterpiece, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and this subgenre got an unfortunate title, Metroidvania. The gist is that the player does not move through the game level by level, but area by area, hindered only by equipment they do not currently possess. But the fortuitous discovery of new equipment allows access to more areas of the large, persistent map. Functioning as both a sequel to and remake of Metroid, Super Metroid has series heroine Samus Aran journeying back to planet Zebes to destroy a space pirate installation, again. Fight Mother Brain again, and battle her lieutenants Kraid and Ridley again. She journeys to many of the same areas, Brinstar, Norfair, and Torian, all reappear along with new places, Crateria, Meridia, and a crashed spaceship. She gets, for the most part, the same equipment like the Morph Ball Bomb, Space Jump, and Varia Suit. Oh sure, there's new stuff like the Gravity Suit, Grapple Beam, and Super Missiles among others, but Super Metroid looks and feels very much like Metroid 2.0, and that's not a bad thing. Metroid is great in theory. Super Metroid is great in practice. And I'd be doing a disservice to the game if I didn't mention its fantastic cinematic style. There are so many moments that leave you breathless in the final confrontation with Crocomire, the tense hallways leading up to Samus's acquaintance with the baby Metroid, and of course, the baby's tearful sacrifice to give Samus the Hyper Beam. Little things like Zebes creatures teaching players how to wall jump and boost jump are also endearing and would absolutely be told with text today. The storytelling in Super Metroid is great, and something of a lost art. Nowadays, the Metroidvania subgenre is filled with pretenders. Some are more successful than others, but they all owe a great debt to Super Metroid. There can be little doubt that it deserves a spot in NWR's Hall of Fame. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to NWR TV for more Nintendo coverage, and check out NintendoWorldReport.com. If you'd like to, you can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/NWR.